What's up, my family? Listen, first time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. I'm dying. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Slap.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the f*** are you talking about?
There we go. What's going on, people? Welcome to Pro Fan Talk. Happy Thursday to you. As you can see, I chose appropriately this evening. You can tell my background is distressed because we are going through some distress right now. TK, first out the limo. I appreciate you, fam. But, man, it was a wild week. Wow, week. Ewing 609. Hey, what's good with you? Appreciate you joining me. We got some things to talk about, man. We got to go through some Eagles therapy. I mean, I'll tell you what, man. We can't win for losing sometimes. Sometimes it seems like the answers are very, very simple. But even if something is simple, it can be very hard to find. I don't know how many different ways we can say the same thing, from not running the ball enough, not liking the plays that are called, too many damn bubble screens, Jalen Hurts trying to force the ball to A.J. Brown. Brian Johnson's not very good. Sean Desai's not very good. Was Matt Patricia any better? What's Nick Sirianni's role in all of this? Man, we just got a lot on the table right now, bros. A lot on the table. And we are in a situation where we really have to get it fixed. We are in a situation right now where we have the Giants. Then we have, put this down here. We have the Giants, then we have Arizona, then we have the Giants. So we got some work to do. Are we going to make Tommy DeVito, look like an all-pro? What's going on, Ryan? Bird family, what's good with you? Are we going to do another Drew Lock on this kid? What's up, Vince? Like, what are we going to do? We have no more layups. When I say layups, man, you're talking about those games that you are automatic. You can check them off. Every game is tough in the NFL. Don't get it twisted. But you already know when your team is better than the other team. Those are the games you're supposed to win. We were, without a doubt, a better team than Seattle. And we let them off the hook. We let them hang around, very similar to what we did against the Jets. We let them hang around. And then at the last possible second, they burned us. And it's our fault. It's our fault. Matt Patricia, the defense did play better. The defense played well enough to win the game. And it was good until it wasn't. So we would have been like, a B grade for the defense until that last drive when James Bradbury got beat 3 times in a row. And for the final time, he got beat for the touchdown and the game winner. Hell of a catch. Hell of a throw. Shoot, man. Last time Drew Lock played, I don't even know if my grandson was born yet. Golly. And we let that dude come in and beat us. And he was not great. He just threw 3 good balls when he absolutely had to, and they came up with the catch. Any given Sunday. That's exactly what that means. There's no reason why we should have lost that game. But we made mistakes. Our captain, I ain't talking about Jalen Hurts. Jason Kelsey gets a false start on the 5-yard line going in. And it cost us a touchdown. That was a 4-point swing. Right? We settled for a field goal. We should have scored a touchdown. We get that. I believe we could have got a first down and just ran it in there. Or what? I can't remember if we were close enough, but I believe we were on like the 3-yard line or the 4. We were about to score. And then it backed us up. And it screwed us up. And it cost us 4 points. That was a 4-point swing. That's a lot when you lose by 3. And my point is, when our best players, that's 2 weeks in a row, our best players cost us. When we played Dallas, we put the ball on the ground. We fumbled it away. If you look at that game, I believe I said it last week, for all of the rigmarole we had up going on about Brian Johnson and how we didn't like the offense and all of that kind of stuff, the fact of the matter is, you take those fumbles and you take the inexplicable drop passes from Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. If they make those, they normally make those catches. If they make those catches in that game, both wide receivers would have had over 100 yards. And A.J. Brown probably would have had a touchdown. He dropped the ball that would have put us on the 4-yard line. Dropped it right in his hands. Normally he makes that catch. He ain't make it this time. So we got work to do. The silver lining in all of that is, in my opinion, the things we need to shore up, strengthen up, fix up, those things are not that complicated. Think about it. They're not that complicated. We can bitch, moan, and complain about Brian Johnson all day, but if you watch the tape, a lot of that ain't Brian Johnson's fault. However, I will say this. I don't know if it was Nick Sirianni. I don't know if it was Brian Johnson. I tell you what, in the presser today, Nick Sirianni said that is my offense. I'm going to take him at his word. He said it's his. It's his. Then I'm going to put this on Sirianni. Who calls a damn option play? We ran the option for, I think, no yards or less than 1 yard, which was absolutely ridiculous. Stuff like that. We did the whole 2 bubble screens in a row. We almost got Devontae hurt. Then we almost got Goddard hurt. And I've seen a lot of feedback on social media, like, why would you call a bubble screen with Devontae Smith blocking? That's a damn good question. Because that goes back to a day one rule if you are a football coach. Know your personnel. You do not want Devontae Smith blocking on the screen. I know they want to leave him in here so the defense thinks it's something else, but that's just not good for business. You either put the ball in his hands and let him do what he does best, or replace him. And if you replace him, it is up to the coaches and up to the coordinators to coordinate some plays that can hide what you're trying to do. And therein lies our problem on offense. We are predictable. And finally, we are very predictable. When you have screens, and every time we run that daggone screen, the passes get deflected. What that tells me is the defense recognizes when it's coming, and they know how to get in your passing lanes. They get them big paws up in the air, and all you got to do is get a deflection If you can get the ball, if you can block the ball in the air, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And we've been, 2 situations where that's got picked off. So we know what we are. Everybody else knows what we're doing. Everybody got all bent out of shape because McCaffrey on the Manning cast called out the play that we were running. It doesn't matter what play that we're running. Chucks, what's going on, my guy? It doesn't matter what play we are running. If you execute, it does not matter. You get man on a man. If you block your man, does not matter if a team knows what you're running. Doesn't matter. When I was in camp with the Eagles, if the offensive coach would get pissed off for whatever reason, usually it involved rookies in some way, shape, or form, we would be going live drills, and a coach would come up screaming, hollering, cussing, run it again. And he would say, we're coming right here. You got to get this man, run it again. And everybody would know where we're going. But at the end of the day, if this guard doesn't get his block, if that center doesn't get his block, whatever the situation is, if you don't execute your blocks, you're going to get blasted. Stu Vision, what's going on, my guy? Good to see you. I appreciate you. So, I don't know who can flip the switch for execution. You know what I'm saying? Execution at this level, at the NFL level, you either got it or you don't. Now, I will say, this is where the coaching comes in, because you, as a coach, have to see what your team's deficiencies are. And this is where we are failing, in my opinion, with the coaching. The one thing I learned with my 9 years with the GT Stallions, shout out to the GT Stallions, shout out to Glenn Leary, shout out to Devin Leary up at University of Kentucky doing this thing. You got these kids that will come in and you would say, oh, this kid's fast. This kid knows how to throw. This kid can do this. This kid can do that. And what you would do is if you had a kid that joined your team and he was the fastest thing since a gazelle, you know what you would do? You would put him on the offense, run a sweep, and let him outrun everybody, because you know that's what he did best. You wouldn't try to throw him a pass because he couldn't catch. You got to know your personnel. If you got the biggest kid on the team, but he's a sweet kid, and you know he's not very aggressive, you don't put him at linebacker because he's scared to hit. You take the little small kid that's a pit bull and make him your linebacker because you know he's not scared to hit. You got to know your personnel. It's the same way in Little League. It's the same way in high school. It's the same way in college. And it should be the same way in the pros. But because you have these contracts, it's not. It's not. Chucks, we're going to revisit Maddox in a minute. So we got to know the personnel. I'm of the ilk. We got that kid that came in. I don't even know if he's on the team anymore. We had that big wide receiver with 4.4 speed that was 6'7". Why do we sign him if you're not going to use him? We got Albert O in the building. And in my opinion, next to Goddard, he is probably the most athletic tight end that we have on the team, period. Why don't we use him? Draw a play up, Jalen. Get the ball to Albert O, because you got to see what these guys can do in the situation. You mean to tell me if you got a 6'4" tight end that runs a 4.4, he can't be a matchup with a linebacker? You know what you have on your personnel. Why aren't we using it? That is my question to Sirianni or Brian Johnson or whoever's running the offense. It really don't matter. Why not? How come we are not using everybody to their potential? Why are we still trying to run DeAndre Swift up the middle? Those are the same plays we always run. Why are we still doing that? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense, man. Yo, John Skill, I got you, bro. You know what? Let's do this because I'm seeing some good stuff in the chat right now, and I want to get to it. I want to get to all of this stuff. I don't want to miss a thing. So tell you what, let's run this ad real quick, pay the bills, and I'm gonna hit the questions. So hold tight. Let me see where we at. Where we go? Where'd it go? I always have a hard time finding these daggone movies. All right, hold on. We're going to hit this first ad.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
All right, we're going to get to some of these questions because the live chat is hot, and I appreciate that. I'm going to go all the way back to Chuck's comment. Chuck, let's just hit it, bro. There's hope for the secondary. It'll be with Ringo stepping up and getting Maddox back. My question with Maddox, and I am happy to get him back too. But my question with Maddox is he going to be game shape from sitting out that long? That's what I want to know. Is he going to be game shape? Because that's a tough call. If you've been out since, heck, I don't know how long it's been. It's week 2. That's a long time to be out. Are you going to be in game shape? Are you going to be able to get on that field? But heck, I got to look at it like this. He can't be any worse. He could miss tackles like everybody else. So from that standpoint, I guess so. I'm happy he's back. I need somebody with some aggressiveness and some experience back there. I really want to see. At this point, I'm like, put Ricks and Ringo in there. Let them roll. Let the young boys roll until Slay gets back. Bradbury, I think Bradbury Bradbury was good until he wasn't. So it's time to walk away from Bradbury. Not walk away, but you got to go in a different direction. And that is the thing that good coaches do. Jimmy Johnson, Parcells, Belichick, coaches that are not afraid to make that tough decision. Well, son, you're not getting it done, so we got to go in a different direction. But stay ready because you never know what's going to happen. That's part of football. And you guys have heard me say this before. My biggest fear for Sirianni is that his attitude and that loyalty that he builds, that he's going to choose loyalty over talent. And it's going to cost us games. Everybody wants to say you want that family environment in the locker room. Well, guess what? Family fight more than anybody else. But you know what? Most of the time, family is the one that tell you the truth. So we got to be in a situation where the coach has got to say, I hate to do this, but I got to do this because this is for the best. This is for the better of the team. If you can make that call with Matt Patricia, again, do I believe you were the one that made that call? Not really. But if you going to claim it, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. We know better, but since you said it, I'm going to roll with you. If you can make that decision, you should be able to make the decision on Bradbury. I don't mind that we paid Bradbury that money because last year, in my opinion, he was worth it. He balled out. Slay balled out. I wish we could have got CJ, but he overshot the market. That's business. So what we were left with Slay and Bradbury. Slay is still playing at a high level, in my opinion. Bradbury, not so much. Bradbury still, I say this and I laugh, but Bradbury looked like he running through oatmeal For whatever reason, that dude does not move his hips in an urgent manner. It's like people running by him. Yeah, Bradbury sits, Chucks. I'm with you, bro. Team scout all week. Every team has tendencies. Any player should be able to predict another team's play occasionally with good study and coaching. Vince, that's with every team, bro. That is with every team. So everybody, and that's go back to the beginning of the year, the first quarter of the year, and when I would always say, and I've said this for the last 3-4 years, right? You can't evaluate your team until you get to week 5. My logic is you don't really know what you have on their team until at least you played 3 or 4 games. Once you play 3 or 4 games, everybody in the league got you on tape. Now you start showing some tendencies and doing some things often. So now people can game plan you. Now you got to kind of, you can figure out which rookies are going to play well, which guys have the hot hand, which guys are coming out of nowhere, that sort of thing. So now you can formulate a game plan. So after about week 5, everybody's got film, and then you start separating yourself. Which teams keep rising and which teams fall. Because if teams can be successful after you've had a week of film study, that's what you want. We were barely scraping by under the guise of we're a scrappy team. We find ways to win. If you get the ball in Jalen Hurts' hand in the fourth quarter, he'll make it happen. Well, now that train has run out of gas. So we got to come up with something different. And it's not complicated, in my opinion. Zach, I wish I could share your optimism. I appreciate it. But that judgment, I will reserve that optimism for right now. After seeing what I've seen the last couple of weeks, I do not share that enthusiasm. However, let us not forget our neighbors to the north, who we have to play this week, the New York Football Giants, who went to the Super Bowl with a 9-7 record and beat Tom Brady. So don't tell me it can't be done. It can be done. But we got 3 weeks to show that we're getting our stuff together. Because at this point, in my opinion, it really doesn't matter if we lose. We're in the playoffs. How we lose, though, we can't give away games. We can't do it. Stu Vision, Coach, why on 3rd and 7 or longer we do not use a 5-man front with 6 DBs, and do you think that would be effective? Yes, I think it would be more effective. When you use a 5-man front and put that extra DB, it does put a little bit of pressure because you expect 5 men to get home. So they got to get home. Or you force the quarterback to get rid of the ball before he's ready to. That makes mistakes happen. Yes, I agree with you. We should use a 5-man front with blitzes, hidden coverages, and stick another DB back there. I don't mind that. There's ways to beat that too, but you can surprise some people with that. In my opinion, that is a situation where a Nolan Smith would be better served. Because Nolan coming off the edge like that, in my opinion, right now, Nolan is a little bit too light in the behind. Nolan looked like a DB out there. And he's fast enough to be one. Because he goes up against a good tackle, he's going to get pent. He is not that big. So I agree with you. I think a 5-man front would be a little bit more effective. So let's see what happens next week. Now that Patricia, no more excuses. He's giving the press conference today. Okay, you the man. Let's roll with it. What are you going to do different? That's the question for Patricia. What are you going to do different? Yeah, Vince, don't get me started into that, man. We barely use Goddard, but I don't think that's necessarily Goddard. I think that's more on Jalen. That goes into the issue of Jalen forcing the ball to A.J. Brown. He's clearly forcing the ball to A.J. Brown. And let me be honest with you, I ain't necessarily mad at that because A.J. Brown, despite the mid last 3 or 4 games he's had, teams have pretty much held him in check. In spite of all of that, he's still the number 2 receiver in the league. In spite of not using DeAndre Swift correctly, he's still top 5 running back in the league. Just imagine if we used him the right way. Good grief. We got to use our personnel. John said they don't even use Julio Jones right. They don't. I don't know what. I don't know what they're supposed to be doing with Julio. I know you're supposed to be ring chasing, but you do want to contribute, and that's when you see people get frustrated because just imagine what Rashad Penny feels like. Just imagine that. You brought him here. He shows promise. You know his history. He's got skills. We've essentially wasted a year of his career. And that's a shame. I feel bad as a running back. We have wasted a year of his career. Bradbury makes too much to sit, needs to get right against the Giants, also play Scott against the Giants. Well, we know Boston Scott's going to play. He's a Giants killer. But my thing with Boston Scott is if you can play him against the Giants, you can play him against everybody else. If he's good, he's good. That is my problem. We got too many good players sitting on the bench, and we're not doing anything. Put the best players on the field. That's supposed to be what the NFL is all about. That's how teams can separate themselves when you got the best players on the field and you got coaches strong enough to say, I know we paying you the money, but you ain't getting it done. We don't have that no more. Money rules now. Money rules now. So it is what it is. Compared to Bradbury, has lead feet. Yes, he does. Let me see. Matt Patricia had Reddick 10 yards downfield in coverage on a 3rd and 10. That's coaching error. I agree 100%. How many times do we have to tell? The last 3 years, the same situation with Hassan Reddick. Last year, they was dropping them back in coverage. Hassan Reddick should have led the league in sacks last year. But Jonathan Gannon knows more than everybody else. And again, wasting his talent. The minute you left him on the edge, look what happened. They did the same thing in Arizona. They did the same thing in Carolina. And the only thing he did was have double-digit sacks all of those years. What is it that people don't see? I don't understand that. That is where a coach's ego gets in front of making a logical and common sense decision. If the dude is beating everybody off the ball, I remember the game we had against him when he was with Carolina and he ended up sacking Jalen Hurts, 3 times that game? He was killing us. So why wouldn't you want to put him anywhere else besides where he's supposed to be? I don't understand. That is not a difficult thing to figure out. He put his work in. What else do you want him to do? For you to understand, like, him on the edge, that is the best place for him. And now you can see he's getting a lot of chips and a lot of doubles. And that's okay. Because if he is, then I got to have a coach smart enough to be able to take advantage of that. Because if he's getting doubled, that means somebody's free. Back to the question of the 5-man front. So we got to be able to do something. This is when creativity as a coach needs to come into play. Handing off play Call of Duty to Steichen 2 years ago. Yeah, he did do that. But maybe let's just admit that Brian Johnson is a huge drop-off from Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen went to Indianapolis and got the same exact quarterback, except younger, bigger, and faster. And then what does he do? He wants to run the ball like Josh Allen and gets himself hurt. So Shane Steichen, if Shane Steichen got Gardner Minshew playing better than Jalen Hurts right now, how does that work for you? Gardner Minshew is playing better than Jalen Hurts. That's a damn shame. All right, keep these chats going. I'm gonna hit some more. You know what? I'm gonna do the last two ads right now at 30-minute mark. That way we can just roll on to the end. So hold tight. We're gonna roll these last two and keep it moving. Let me see. So I'm gonna go back to back. Which ones do we got? We got Carlino's and hats.com. That hat John. So hold tight.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
Irv, I want a shirt that says Hat John, if you're listening. All right, let's go back to the chat because the chat is hot. Somebody said draft Trotter Jr. The Eagles should have drafted a linebacker with that Nolan pick. I ain't going to argue with you, John, but that's the other thing that we'll wait to see it gets corrected. Howie Roseman has a history of not drafting linebackers, but it ain't even got to go that far. Bottom line is we should have did more to try to get TJ Edwards to stay, or if we knew TJ Edwards wasn't going to stay, keep Kaiser White. Kaiser White would have been better than Moreau. Can you imagine Kaiser White and Cunningham? That'd have been a good pairing. So we made the mistake getting rid of Christian Ellis. So I was looking forward to Christian Ellis playing. Guys got to take their lumps, man. Patriots just let go of Bill Belichick. Matt Patricia should be looking over his shoulder. No. I doubt that. Here's a good one. Draft. Can you imagine if we got Trotter Jr.? Oh my God, Philadelphia would lose their collective green crap if we got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. That would be awesome. I think it would be fitting, and I think he would be good here. But as with anything else, man, it's all about the coaches we got on staff, and are we going to use these guys to their potential? You know, I think Nakobe Dean was going to be pretty good personally. He just got to stay on the field. Vince says, why is it he has D. Smith, one of the best round runners in the NFL, has zero chemistry with him despite playing? Well, Smith should be getting 10 to 12 catches game. I think Devontae Smith was good where he was. I think everything was good until he just started forcing the ball to AJ. I think my prediction towards this year was that AJ Brown was going to have more catches and more yards. Devontae Smith was going to have more touchdowns. Because there's a reason we call him the Slim Reaper. He's the guy that can stretch the defense. And while it worked out perfectly. While everybody was trying to stop A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith would just run that skinny post, gone. And Jalen was getting him them deep balls, and he was going up and getting them. So if look at it, most of these games, when AJ Brown went on that run, right? Devontae Smith was still getting his, but he just wasn't getting as much. But he was getting the ball and getting yards after the play. Look at the catch. Prime example. Look at the catch in Dallas. If he doesn't fumble that ball, we got the ball like what, on a 9? And then he coughs it up in the red zone. And it's like, where did that come from? So I think if you're going to have somebody like Devontae Smith around, the problem is you can beat him up. How many times have you seen Devontae catch a ball and then the DB literally pick him off the ground and slam him? That's what started the fight with Big Dom, if you remember. Greenlaw tried to suplex him. The dude only weighed like 170. You got linebackers that are curling that much. So they're going to throw him around like a rag doll. Look at that one. I can't remember what week it was. Was it the Dallas game at home? We ran that screen. Devontae Smith looked like he was going to break it. And then somebody just clotheslined him. And the next thing you know, his feet and his head were at the same level in the air. So when you got somebody like that that's that light, you got to use him as an accessory piece. You got to use him to embellish the whole thing, because look at the best play we have right now is A.J. Brown running that slant across the middle, catching it with his hands. He either gets 5 to 7 yards, getting the first down, or he breaks a tackle. Usually Devontae Smith not going to break them tackles like that. He can make somebody miss, but usually he's not breaking tackles. So Smitty is running by folks. AJ is running over folks. And they gotta complement each other. So if you got a physical receiver, you gotta have a burner. And we got the best of both worlds. And we gotta figure out how to get them back in sync. Because it would always seem like AJ would have 4 to 5 more catches or 4 to 5 more targets. Sometimes it wasn't as many catches. It was the targets. Sometimes Devontae would have as much, if not more, catches with less targets. So to me, Devontae is making the most out of his situation, out of his opportunities. A.J. Brown, well, both of them for the last couple of weeks just hasn't been working. Myram said overall Matt Patricia did good. Nick and Hurts is the issue. Against Seattle, absolutely. Going into that last drive, Jalen Hurts scrambles for like 30. We get midfield. All we got to do is get another first down, and then we are relatively close to Jake Elliott range. And all of a sudden, we trying to throw deep, low percentage pass, and come to find out they're trying to play for the penalty. I was like, dude, don't even say nothing with that. Don't even say nothing. All you got to do was say, every time we see one-on-one with A.J. Brown, we're looking to go to A.J. Brown. Jordan Love said it. He knew what we were going to do. He played the odds. And he guessed right. That's film study. So a certain percentage of the time, when you get man-to-man, Jalen Hurts is trying to go deep to A.J. Brown. Because if you remember last year, and to some extent, the first half of the season this year, Jalen Hurts was throwing deep balls right in the pocket. And Jalen was coming up with them catches. Or AJ was coming up with them catches. And again, it just stopped. Everybody's ready for it now. So you got to come up. That's why, in my opinion, you're seeing so many times where Devontae Smith is coming across late. But he's open. We've been holding the ball like, dude, hit your check downs, hit Devontae going across. Because if Devontae's in space, he can turn that 10 into 20. And if you check down, at worst, DeAndre Swift is going to get you 5 to 10. He's going to make somebody miss. Or at least let them take the punishment. You got to save yourself, Jalen. But you got to start using checkdowns. You got to start hitting people coming across late. You can't force everything to A.J. Brown. Because now everybody knows that's what you want to do in certain looks. And now here is something where we got exposed. Jordan Love gave us the blueprint. Hey, and if you really want to be truthful, go back and look at what Bosa says. We can hate on Bosa all we want. Don't mean he was wrong. Don't mean it was wrong. Everybody heard that sound bite with Bosa. And you know what most teams do? What the heck Bosa talking about? He don't know what the hell he talking about. Run that tape. Let's see what he... Oh, damn. The tape don't lie. And as much as I love Jalen, as much as I pull for Jalen, what I don't want to see, and he's dipping his toe in that territory, and he's got to be careful. Because what you don't want to do is get the people of Philadelphia sick and tired of hearing you talk about the standard. And I know that's generic coach speak and the whole thing with the commitment and all of that stuff about commitment didn't mean a damn thing to me. That was, to me, in my opinion, that was somebody that was sick, that was looking for something to stay, and he just got caught in his words. Happens all the time. You start repeating yourself, and what's the difference between commitment and the standard and playing up to a certain expectation? All he's saying is the same thing 3 different ways. He wasn't throwing nobody under the bus. None of that. The problem now is, especially because, once again, in social media, is the press has to pull out and slice and dice every little detail of what you say. Then they want to psychoanalyze it about what you think that they were saying. The problem is what they want to do is they want to add their personality to what Jalen Hurts was saying, and you can't do that. He doesn't have your personality, so he doesn't think like you think, so he wouldn't say it like you would say it. He wouldn't. Just like when people, and that's the nature of the beast, but still, when people say if he should do the, Nick Sirianni should do this. I think Nick Sirianni should bench James Bradbury. You know what? If I was a head coach, maybe I wouldn't. Because there's obviously other things that's going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to. And it matters. So it's very easy to say that unless you're in the situation. So I can give some understanding to what Jalen said. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think he was throwing anybody under the bus. But that's the topic of every daggone media head show for 2 days. What did Jalen Hurts mean? Was he throwing people under the bus? Was he doing this? Was he doing that? And at the end of the day, everybody's guessing. Even Lord Brunson, local Lord Brunson, getting pub on Skip Bayless show, talking about he's just a fan and he shouldn't. That's the second time this year. We done had third time this year. We done had some nonsense over social media. First it was Gainwell, then it was Slay, now it's AJ. Making your own distraction. Just don't say nothing. Act like can't nobody critique your game, whether they right or wrong. That's been always going on. That ain't gonna never stop. And it gets worse and worse because of social media. You got all these people saying whatever they want to say with impunity. You ain't gonna never stop it. For somebody local to make it all the way up to Skip Bayless because AJ Brown responded to it, that makes no sense to me. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. It's not that big of a deal. You know how fandom is as a player. You know how fandom is. We didn't have that problem. I don't understand why there's a problem with players getting open. The Eagles are an all-star team on offense. I think it's how we scheme it, man. I think Jada was waiting around to try to hit big plays. And a lot of people had opinions about what Kelsey said on the radio today, where he was saying we got to find a way to make more explosive plays. And it's like, no, you don't. What you got to do is get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. I hate to even say it like this. What the Eagles got to do is do what the 49ers are doing. In my opinion, I don't think Brock Purdy is the MVP because the best player on that team is Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey should be in the running for MVP, in my opinion. When Brock Purdy is doing some lights out and he's got some stats that are in the never has this happened in football category. So he deserves to be in the MVP race. But I think CMC is the MVP of that team this year. But my point in saying all of this is Brock Purdy went on a 3-game losing streak when his weapons weren't available. Brock Purdy's success is relegated on the fact that he can dump the ball to Kittles, he can dump the ball to Debo, he can dump the ball to CMC. And he can hand it off to CMC. So all Brock Purdy is doing, and it is brilliant to see, the only thing he's doing is getting the ball to his playmakers and letting them make plays. Debo had 100 and Lord knows what yards on us on 4 catches. 4. It's not complicated. DeAndre Swift is a playmaker. Jalen Hurts is a playmaker. A.J. Brown is a playmaker. Devontae Smith is a playmaker. Dallas Goedert is a playmaker. Boston Scott is a playmaker. Gainwell is a playmaker. Get the ball in their hands. Let them do what they do best. Find another way to run a screen pass. Nick, please mix it up. You don't have to create new plays to mix it up. All you got to do is take what you have existing and add a wrinkle to it. We're going to run this play, but you know what? We're going to start in this set, and we're going to motion out of it. Doesn't matter at this point. It doesn't matter if people know what you're doing. You still got to execute. Didn't you see Seattle run that option? Or they ran that, it was a run play, but the motion was the arc motion behind the quarterback in gun. Who ran that? The 49ers. It's a copycat league. We're the only ones not copying. They did it. Andy Reid beat us with some stuff he saw from Jacksonville in the Super Bowl and killed us with it twice. And he saw that week, 4 in Jacksonville when we played them? Take what you got existing and just tweak it a little bit and make it something new. If they ain't seen it before, great. If they have, maybe they haven't seen it in that scheme or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not to that part of it to me is not complicated. I don't think we have to change our offense because we were scoring. It wasn't until these last couple weeks that we didn't score points. Even in the San Francisco game, the reason why the San Francisco game was so bad was because we didn't get in the end zone and Jalen Hurts was missing receivers. The first play of the game, Jalen Hurts misses that deep corner to Stoll that could have took us in the red zone on play 1. Then we get down there, field goal, and then the floodgates opened up. But if we score on those possessions, that's a different ball game. You got to look at it different. The Dallas situation in Dallas, we fumbled the ball away. That's a different game if we score on those possessions. The closer you get to the playoffs, your margin for error gets smaller. So you can't make those mistakes. Jason Kelce can't get it offsides as a center. Jalen Hurts can't miss Devontae Smith across the middle for an easy pass or a check down. Nick Moreau can't miss an interception. James Bradbury, as bad as you're playing, when you get an opportunity to pick one off, you got to pick it off. The good teams are not missing those opportunities. That's the difference. And all of a sudden, we are. How many interceptions do we have as a team this year? Not many. Maybe what, 5? If that. So we got to be better at taking advantage of those opportunities. And right now, we have not been doing that. Vince, Moreau was good very few games. He looked like a fine, but definitely been exposed the second half of the season. I agree 100%. When it was Moreau and Cunningham together, they had found something together. I don't know what it was. And Desai was using it. So I'm not on the Desai sucks bandwagon. Because you know what? When we beat the Rams, everybody was like, Desai made the adjustments and we shut them down. And then we played Miami and we bottled up Tyreek Hill. And then we did enough in the second half against KC. And that was Desai. That was the same dude. Now it's like he don't matter now. So it's not as simple as that. When I watch the tape, I see Kevin Byard missing tackles. I see Keely Ringo missing tackles. I see Sidney Brown missing tackles. Our defense would not be as bad as it was if we simply and only made tackles. Getting people on the ground. How many? Debo had 3 touchdowns. All of them were on passes that were less than 5 yards. It was either a screen, a quick slant, or a run play. And all of them but one. And the one he scored, the last touchdown Debo scored, he had the chef's kiss for a running back. He was untouched in the end zone. He ran right through the middle of the defense, and nobody touched him. That's nirvana for a running back. All other ones, everybody's coming in high. Moreau grabbed at his shoulders, and he didn't budge. We can't tackle as a team. Our tackling sucks. Sirianni said Patricia is the greatest DC of all time. All right. That's more of that loyalty stuff. That's Sirianni. I don't mind that because that's Sirianni's personality. Period. Everybody knows somebody that takes it to the nth degree. Everybody knows somebody that if they take you to a pizza spot, that's the best pizza in town. You got to try this spot. This is the best. Trust me. Everybody knows a person like that. Next time your friend come up to want to show you the video, they want to hold the phone up, like holding the phone up is going to convince you that that's the best YouTube video that they've ever seen. Everybody knows somebody like that. That's what Sirianni is. And that's a good quality for your head coach. Unfortunately, you still got to keep it 100. You got to keep it real. You got to take off the green glasses and deliver some truth. I didn't think, that could still happen, but in my opinion, Dean is not big enough. Sam Mills was a little stocky. Dean got and I think Dean looks like one of them dudes where he just might have small joints. He might have just small ankles that are prone to get rolled on. Some people are like that. Some people are like that. Spend all that time in the weight room, or you see them guys, every team has them. You got that one dude that looks like a legit bodybuilder, but he can run and jump and he's fast and all that, but he's built like a bodybuilder, V, all of that kind of stuff. And it looks good because they got little joints. The waist is thin, the knees pop in, and then the calves pop out, and then it goes small again when you get to the ankles. It looks great. Not so much if you're trying to change direction. Guys like that are always hurt. Something's always sprained, torn ligament, partial tear, things like that. Guys with small joints. And I think that's what Dean is. His ankles ain't big enough. Joshua says they need to stop waiting so late in the season to let rookies like Sidney and Nolan get playing time. Maybe if they let Dean get playing time last season, would have known injury. I don't necessarily believe that. I agree with you on the first part, not the second part. If you got rookies and you need to let them play, because eventually players have to take their lumps. Period. Everybody wants instant. Just add water. Elite quarterback. Just add water. Top DB. Just add water. Great defensive tackle. No. They got to take their lumps. Prime example is look at Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis at 360 pounds ran a 4.6 40. But after 3 plays, he was huffing and puffing. And everybody said he got to lose some weight. I remember Seth said it last year. He need to, put down the sweet potato pie, and he made the jokes. And guess what he did? Got his cardio up, got his weight down, came back slim, strong, had dropped about 25, 30 pounds. And now you see he's a 3-down lineman and playing well this year. He took his lumps last year. Reed Blankenship. Y'all know how I feel about Reed. Reed had no business being that good last year, but he was. And they got to a situation where they were forced to use him. And you know what? The kid can play. The kid was smart. He wasn't the fastest person in the world, but he was a physical player, and he was a smart player because he knew where he was supposed to be. If you're not the fastest, if you can't jump the highest, technique will win all the time. He knew where he was supposed to be. So he got his butt over there and made the plays when he had to make the plays. So it was no drop-off when Reed Blankenship was in the game. Now he's a starter. And people even had the nerve to not be confident in him at the beginning of the year. What else do you need to see? Because people get so caught up in freaking your draft status, you don't look at what's right in front of you. If Reed Blankenship had been a first, second, or third round pick, they wouldn't have had no problem with him stepping in and being a starter. But because he was from Middle Tennessee and undrafted, shout out to Middle Tennessee and the OVC. I didn't go there, but we used to play him every year. Because he was undrafted, you don't want to give him the time of day. And I keep trying to tell people, there are plenty of people that are in the league that shouldn't be, and there are plenty of people that are, that aren't. So good for us that we got Reed Blankenship, and he's balling. But he's another one that needs to just keep his head up and wrap up when he tackles. They should start Marcus Mariota on Christmas. Nah. The Eagles used Smith to block on screenplay, the smallest player. Yep, that was very stupid. The quick wide receiver screens ain't fooling nobody. I said the same thing last year. I thought Brian Johnson was going to get away from him, but Nick just let us know that this is the same offense he ran last year. So we got the same bubble screens, and they stupid because everybody know they coming. Sign Big Dom to replace Dickerson. Let me see. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, that still bothers me. Marshall, nah, not at all. Not at all. Here's where Philly fans get in their own way. And I will say this with the preface of this is where I will separate myself as a player, as a former player, not a fan. And this is where fans get it wrong. Every coach, every NFL coach has been through some shit. Without, I don't name your favorite coach, the coach you hate the most, doesn't matter. If you are a coach in this league, you've gone through some stuff. You've gone through a losing streak. You've gone through losing players. You've just gone through a bunch of crap. And what makes you think that Nick Sirianni is any different? He's not. So he's got to take his lumps like everybody else. This is not going to be this is the second time he's gone through a losing streak, and it's only a 3-game losing streak. My question is, did San Francisco sound like this when they were going through their 3-game slide? Did they want their coach fired and this, that, and the other? And it's like, we got to be real with the situation. And this is when fans just lose their crap, lose their shit. Like, stop thinking that we should fire this guy and hire this guy. No. Not at all. And the best way I can describe it is just imagine whatever it is that you do on your job, right? Just imagine if you have a coworker and y'all work on something in your job. And 3/4 of the way through your task, your coworker gets snatched. And they say, we're going to put this new person in there. Figure it out. That's what happens every time you do a coach, when you fire a coach, or that's the risk you take. The dude in Buffalo that got fired, was that his fault? That Josh Allen was throwing all those interceptions? Was that his fault that Josh Allen was fumbling? No. Because the truth of the matter is, if we don't fumble the ball away in Dallas, we got a whole different outlook right now. Because if we don't fumble those opportunities, we may have actually won in Dallas. Or even if we didn't lose like we didn't look inept like we did. So the whole outlook on the coach thing is different. Because like I said, everybody bitching about Brian Johnson, but if our receivers catch the ball, but we got 2 receivers over 100 yards in Dallas against Bland and all them other guys that they want to say are the best things since sliced bread. So the whole outlook of the coach is different if they hold on to the ball. That's execution. That's not coaching. You don't coach fumbles in practice. You don't do it. I don't know why he was throwing to Quez. And this is the one thing, Quez Watkins specifically is the one player that started giving me bad feelings about Sirianni. And like I said earlier, that bad feeling was that he would choose loyalty over talent. Oz is better than Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins has had every opportunity to be a big play wide receiver, and he doesn't. Yes, I know he's fast. Yes, I know he's big. And yes, I know he can take the top off, but he doesn't come up with the big play. And he's had plenty of opportunities. I like what Oz has done better. He might be as fast, but not as big. I can live with that. If he makes the catch or do what he has to do. Or if you want to use Quez as a accompanying piece, so he'll be a blocker and stuff like that, so be it. But we know what it is. He's not going to call him out, but those are the meetings that's the stuff that you gotta hear in film session. Like, nah, dog, somebody else going to get in there. Lord have mercy, Vince. Good grief, my friend. I don't know what it is with us and hot routes, because it does feel like we do not have any. I have no idea. Jalen is a smart enough quarterback where he can see the blitz. If you're an NFL quarterback, your job is to recognize the blitz. If you do have a blitz coming your way, there should be a hot route in there somewhere, because if somebody's blitzing, somebody's open. That's the rule. Can't cover everybody if you're blitzing. So I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know where the hot routes are. Yes, our fan base is entitled. Every fan base is entitled. Listen, the stuff that the Eagles do, the Eagles fans do, is no different than Rams fans, Oakland fans, or Raiders fans, rather, Ravens fans, Browns fans, Pittsburgh fans. You go across the country. In any NFL market, Chiefs, Miami Dolphins, all of their fans are entitled and crazy. Everybody thinks that their quarterback is getting disrespected. Everybody thinks their coach is getting disrespected. They don't give us enough credit. When we win a game, there's always an excuse. Everybody is like that. Everybody's like that. You see what's going on with Tua down in Miami because of what somebody said on some media show. You ain't even got to respond to that. Dude, you putting it down on the field. Why are you worried about what somebody else is saying? Because at the end of the day, when you sitting in front of that press conference and them idiots keep asking you the same question and bringing up the same stuff, it gets to like you got to address it because you're tired of hearing it. It's almost like the Family Guy joke when Stewie was like, Mom, Mommy, Mama. You get sick of hearing it, so you got to address it. So it is what it is, man. What's wrong with Purdy? Oops, too late. He got paid. Purdy's gonna get paid, man. If Purdy keep doing what he's doing, Purdy might be one of the best to do it because he's smart. He ain't trying to reinvent the wheel. He's taking what people give him. Like people forget, man. Joe Montana had Rathman and Jerry Rice and Taylor, all of them guys. Ronnie Lott, Roger Craig. Joe Montana had a group. How many people that played with Joe Montana are in the Hall of Fame right now? So Joe Montana had players. Joe Montana did not have a cannon for an arm. Joe Montana was not built like Tom Brady or Anthony Richardson or Jalen Hurts for that matter. Joe Montana was a smart player. And you know what he did? Got the ball to his playmakers. So if Purdy keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to keep having success. Michael Conroy, I don't disagree with that. But Purdy's not the issue. You got to figure out how to stop Debo and CMC. Study Miami motion. I don't disagree. By the way, speaking of Brian Westbrook, do you see Jalen Hurts starting to throw short passes to Swift? I hope so. He's open. Get him the ball quick and in space and let him go. Let him make somebody miss. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but it's better than Jalen running it and possibly getting hurt. So check downs all day. I'm good for that. Yep, Hurts definitely got to play smarter. Trying to get out of here. We're gonna get out of here in a minute. What's up, Pete Evans and my guy? What's up, dude? Merry Christmas to you, brother. All points you are hearing are valid. I appreciate that. Michael, that is not true. I disagree with that vehemently. Slay's problem is, and let me say it like this: what you see with Slay on this podcast and all that kind of stuff is a totally different thing than what you see in the locker room. Trust me. Same thing with Kelsey. Kelsey is a down-to-earth. Kelsey is the no-nonsense uncle. You know what I'm saying? Get over here. We got this. We got shit to do. We got to get this done. But when he's on the podcast with his brother, happy-go-lucky, hey, mom, hey, baby, why, say something. Totally different personality. So you can't say that. I agree. I disagree with that. 100%. TJ more than anybody. Marcus Epps, I think Sidney Brown is basically Marcus Epps. Plays the same way, fast, physical, drops his head too much. Bunch of business decisions being made. That's in every DB book. But the problem is that he called it out on himself about how good he made tackles, which was stupid. Again, you got guys on social media commenting, stop. Big guy in the sky don't lie, man. Is Davis faster than Bradbury? Oh, that's funny. Jordan Davis worked his ass off even in that overtime game where he changed. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I hope so. I hope so. Britton Covey. I had to retire the name Crash Test Covey because Britton showed me that he was a real returner. So he became Britton this year, not Crash Test. Love Sidney Brown as a hybrid linebacker. Interesting. He missed tackles, but I see young legs and speed in the perimeter is amazing. Hey, and listen, missing tackles is just something that you can practice, and that is a technique. That's it. And that is the one thing us as a defense are lacking big time. They do not wrap up at all. So it's crazy. So listen, man, this chat has been fire tonight, and I appreciate everybody joining me. Appreciate it, man. But we got 3 weeks to go. Giants, Arizona, Giants. And we can make some things happen. It is not complicated what we have to do and what we have to change. It's not complicated on defense. Everybody's saying the same thing. Jalen, get the ball to Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. Hit somebody else other than A.J. Brown deep on the left side of the field. Use your checkdowns. Run better screens. Run motions. These are things that we can implement and do. So we got 3 weeks, regardless of what happens. Win, lose, or draw, we got 3 weeks to get it together. And then once the playoffs start, everybody is in the same boat. That's the beauty about the playoffs. Once you in, you in. So I'm going to get up out of here, man. This is a good show tonight. I appreciate you. Chat was live, man. We got to do it again next week. So, Anthony, you came in late, bro. What's going on? Still making it happen. I appreciate you. Yeah, man, we're going to keep it going. Check me out on my YouTube channel, Pro Fan Talk. And I'm always here every Thursday on the mothership, A2D Radio. If you're not paying attention, you're not paying attention. We ain't going nowhere. I'm going to see you guys next week, and we are not going to let DeVito beat us. All right? All right. I will holler at y'all next week. I'm going to leave this on my boy Vince, one of my friends from work. Merry Christmas. And we're going to be up out of here on that. Y'all have a good Christmas. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your family. Eat some food. I'll be cooking a brisket. And we're going to make it happen. All right. Enjoy the game tonight. And I will see you guys next week. Go Birds.